1923, for the first time, a U.S. president gives his annual message to Congress over the radio. That leader was Calvin Coolidge. 1947, Harry Truman becomes the first American president to make the address on television. 2002, it's delivered on the internet for the first time by President George W. Bush. And last night was the first time since President Grover Cleveland was in office that a leader fulfilled this constitutional requirement during a second non-consecutive term. That requirement states, quote, "The president shall from time to time give to the Congress information of the State of the Union." It doesn't have to be broadcast. It doesn't have to be annually. It doesn't even have to be in person. What President Donald Trump did last night was steeped in tradition. The primetime speech and the rebuttal, actions all modern presidents and opposing parties conduct this time of year. And the speeches are front and center today on The World from A to Z. Hi, I'm Carl Azuz. It's great to see you this Wednesday. Despite its constitutional topic, the State of the Union, the address itself isn't usually called that the first time a president gives it. The idea is that a newly inaugurated leader hasn't had the time to be an authority on the State of the Union yet. So the speech then is usually just called the president's annual message. In late January, when the Speaker of the House invited President Trump to the event, it was described as an address to a joint session of Congress. And that's what it is, regardless of whether people call it the State of the Union or the president's annual message. From the speech at the start of Mr. Trump's second non-consecutive term, here are some highlights of what he had to say.
We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started. Within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever. The territory to the immediate south of our border is now dominated entirely by criminal cartels. The cartels are waging war on America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels, which we are doing. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in, and whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors. As Commander-in-Chief, my focus is on building the most powerful military of the future. As a first step, I'm asking Congress to fund a state-of-the-art Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA. We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we are going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond. And through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day, we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve. The golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Word and knowledge. The first televised opposition response to a State of the Union address aired in 1966. Who was president then? John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, Lyndon Johnson, Gerald Ford. Republican lawmakers Gerald Ford and Everett Dirksen critiqued the address given by Democratic President Lyndon Johnson.
Like many elements of the president's annual message itself, there's no constitutional requirement for the opposing party's response. And though the first one of those was televised back in the 1960s, it didn't become a yearly tradition until 1982. This year, with a Republican in the White House, it was the Democrats' turn to give the rebuttal, and the person chosen to do that was U.S. Senator Elissa Slotkin from Michigan.
America wants change, but there's a responsible way to make change and a reckless way. And we can make that change without forgetting who we are as a country and as a democracy. The president talked a big game on the economy, but it's always important to read the fine print. So, do his plans actually help Americans get ahead? Not even close. President Trump is trying to deliver an unprecedented giveaway to his billionaire friends. He's on the hunt to find trillions of dollars to pass along to the wealthiest in America. And to do that, he's going to make you pay in every part of your life. We need a more efficient government. You want to cut waste? I'll help you do it. But change doesn't need to be chaotic or make us less safe. The mindless firing of people who work to protect our nuclear weapons, keep our planes from crashing, and conduct the research that finds the cure for cancer, only to rehire them 2 days later? No CEO in America could do that without being summarily fired. Look, America is not perfect, but I stand with the majority of Americans who believe we are still exceptional, unparalleled. And I would rather have American leadership over Chinese or Russian leadership any day of the week. Because for generations, America has offered something better. Our security and our prosperity, yes, but our democracy, our very system of government, has been the aspiration of the world. And right now, it's at risk.
On this date in world history, the Boston Massacre took place on this date in 1770. At a tense time between Britain and the American colonies, British soldiers opened fire on a crowd of colonists who were harassing them. 5 people were killed, and the massacre helped give rise to the Revolutionary War that began 5 years later. This was the date in 1970 that the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, or NPT, took effect. Its goal? To limit the spread of nukes. 191 countries are currently part of the NPT, though the number of nations with these weapons has still increased. Countries that are not part of the treaty are India, Israel, North Korea, Pakistan, and South Sudan.
A gargantuan dust storm swept across the southwest, stranding motorists and shrouding large portions of land in near-zero visibility. The massive and fast-moving dust storm cloaked portions of New Mexico, Texas, and Mexico in dusty darkness and forced some drivers to shelter in place, with the National Weather Service issuing a dust storm warning for parts of at least 2 interstates and 1 highway. Satellite imagery captured the enormity of the swift-moving storm, but it was motorists caught in the thick of it that had the best view of, well, no view at all. These extreme dust storms can persist for hours, and their walls of wind-fueled debris can sometimes grow to 5,000 feet tall.
We'd like to give a royal welcome to some viewers in the Constitution State today, because that's the royal mascot of Plainfield Central Middle School. Great to see Mrs. Sorrentino's class in Plainfield, Connecticut. Next stop is the Great Lakes State of Michigan, where we're happy to be part of Mr. Fischel's class. Hello to the students of Genesee County Juvenile Justice Center in Flint. And we'll wrap up this here segment in the Show Me State of Missouri. From the city of Lone Jack, Mrs. Camoltz or Camoltz's class is watching from Lone Jack Middle School. Yesterday, we told you about a Colombian carnival tradition called the Battle of the Flowers. Today, we're going to Italy for another sort of carnival battle, and it's notably less peaceful. It's the Battle of the Oranges. This recalls a legendary rebellion against an old Italian tyrant. Historians aren't sure if that actually happened, but at the modern-day festival, hundreds of tons of oranges are hurled through the air, with participants from all over risking bloody and broken noses to throw fruit. The town where this happens is said to smell like oranges for days afterward. Of course, critics might call the whole idea bananas, blowing raspberries and saying they don't bereave. It's a cherry grape idea to risk your nectarine and man go honey do something coconuts that could leave a peach of a plum bruise on your melon. But others don't care a fig about those sour sops because pair having a great lime on an orangenious fruitful date that makes the world go rind. I'm Carl Azuz. Thanks for catching up on current events with the world from A to Z. You mean the world to me.